17 months. That's all I've got to turn this piece of land into a profitable farm without owning a single piece of equipment. I blew through my entire budget on the land itself. So from here on out, every tractor, every harvester, every implement is on lease. If I can finish with even $1 more than I started, I win. If not, well, the bank's already circling the property. Welcome to the leasing only challenge. So you can see we are on Elms Creek and we have $100,000 to start with and no equipment. It's August year 1. December year 2 is the end of this challenge, and we need to have at least $100,001 to win. That's the plan. So making wise decisions on what we're going to lease and when we're going to lease it is super critical to this challenge. Before we dive into it, let's take a look at the setup. So here are the mod packs that we are using. All 4 of the DLC packs that are out so far for FS25 we have enabled. Scrolling down here, all of this stuff is disabled. I am using easy development controls just to help me set up the project. We have extended game info display. We have the Elm Creek required mods. Info display extension just to kind of help me out with some extra information on the screen. Quick screenshot mod. The production points pack is required for Elms Creek. And I'm using the round baler extension because I love it. I have no idea if we're going to actually use that, but it is enabled. Time saving stock check is a must have for me as well. Let's get going. Economy is set to easy. Everything else is going to be set to default. So before we start the clock, once the clock starts, we're not going to adjust it. It's going to be at ×5. We have these 3 fields. So one over here, tiny little starter field. We have the wheat that is ready to be harvested, and we have this field out here. Let's take a look at this one. So this one over here looks like it is ready to just be planted. And just to make sure we are correct here, it is in a... what state is that? So ready to be harvested. We have a harvested state, and then this one looks like it's plowed or tilled, but it's not showing up on the info here. So I think we can plant directly in here. So the thing I'm thinking about right off the bat here is it financially worth it to lease a harvester, lease a tractor, and a grain cart? Well, I guess we could just unload the harvester directly into the silo. Oh, here's the silo. So we wouldn't have to get a grain cart until it's time to sell. Yes, so that's a possibility. But the big question is it gonna break even, or are we gonna lose money on this initial harvest and lease of equipment? I think the game plan is we only have 1 calendar year of really planting and harvesting after the wheat field. So getting all 3 of these fields in a state to where they get harvested on the same day so that the lease makes sense, I think is the key to this challenge. So let's take a look at the cost that it would be to lease a harvester. So obviously we would be going with the cheapest thing, and with the base game mods in here, or base game equipment in here, it's gonna be the Massey Ferguson. And if we hit lease here, that's gonna be $5,329, saying we don't hit the hourly fee, which is $2,100. And looking at combinations here, the header itself would cost us another $1,500 to lease. That would make our leasing cost at minimum $6,859. Now looking at prices of wheat in here, when they peak at $1,224, if we divide that, that tells us we need about 5,600 liters of wheat from this harvest to break even. We have no idea. This doesn't feel like that much, so it could be a risk and we could start behind, but then if we make up for it in the end, yeah, what do you do here? So the thought is, do we just let this wither and not make money from it and prep these fields in September and get them planted, or do we risk it? I think for the sake of the challenge, we're gonna risk it. Let's get going. So we're gonna lease the Massey Ferguson and the header. So the fact that we have precision farming enabled makes me kind of question whether or not we should focus on it. Is the bonus gonna kick in and be a negative because we're not sampling the soil and we're not treating the soil the way we should? Now, leasing something for lime, I think might be risky, but we'll see. We're gonna get this harvest done. We'll see how many liters we are. We'll see if we're behind already. We know if we don't get about 5,600 liters, we're gonna be behind the 8 ball already. So that'll make our decision on whether or not we want to risk spending the money on getting the fields soil sampled and then treating things the way we need to get that bonus as high as possible, This is gonna be rough. It's gonna be a tough challenge, and we're gonna have to pick equipment wisely to make sure we don't just blow through our budgets and just completely lose. So no idea how we're gonna do on this. I think it'll be fun to figure out, but let's go ahead and we're gonna put the swath down right now. I just don't think that's gonna be worth it. I mean, we could look at leasing the cheapest tractor possible and a forage harvester or a forage wagon, but I just don't know. Like, the single pass is gonna get us about 600 liters, so it's looking. That's all I gotta say about it now. Let's get this harvest done.
Once you let the light in, you won't see the beautiful stars shining down from afar. No, I ain't afraid of the dark. I don't mind the rain, bringing life back. We can breathe again when dealing with the pain.
And coming in here, we are still at 4,000, so we are a little below what we wanted to get, but we're seeing a 66% yield bonus. That means we can get a lot more out of this field. So that tells me that this field alone next harvest will definitely pay for leasing the harvester. The question is gonna be, are the other two fields gonna be enough to make up the difference that we're missing? So we're gonna have to lease tractors, we're gonna have to lease planters, we're gonna have to lease we'll lease a seeder, but we'll probably have to lease, we're gonna have to lease equipment to get the fields ready, and weeding would be a thing we would wanna do. Fertilizer is definitely something that we're gonna wanna do, and as well as probably lime, and it's just a lot of money up front. I don't know if this challenge is possible. But we'll get all this in the silo, and I think what would make sense is to not sell this year, and we will sell when we finish year 2 December, or when the wheat price is at its highest within our window, if that makes sense. So, okay, we didn't start the time, like I forgot, but we knew we were gonna get that done in August. No issues there. So what I'm thinking with this swath, we're going to be leasing a tractor in September to get these 3 fields planted. I'm thinking, we're pausing and thinking. With our time frame, we can't do something like soybeans, because we would plant those in the spring, harvest them in the fall, and then the price would be terrible in December to sell them. Let's look at the crop types. Let's just kind of think through this. And looking at the calendar here, we have barley, we have canola as an option, we have oats as an option, we could do sorghum, and as well as soybeans. We could do corn, but looking at prices, corn's peak is January, so corn might work. Sorghum would work, its peak's January, so selling in December wouldn't be too bad, but soybeans are definitely out of the equation. Sugar beets might not be bad, but leasing equipment would be super pricey. Same with peas, though peas pay really well. Oats definitely would work with the time frame, and corn does as well. Canola does as well, and we don't have to worry about a swath. So purchasing the soil sample would be $175 for this one, $175 here, and $87 there. So that's not too much money. It looks like we kind of already know what's going on here. 81% is the max we're gonna get, 89% here is the max we're gonna get, and 89 is the max we're gonna get. So not much higher yield than we got, about 30% increase, or 20% increase really. This is tough, but let's go ahead and return our vehicles we have leased now so we don't get any extra fees. And property maintenance was something I forgot about as well. So this is tough, guys. Oh man. All right, let's take a look at the in the menu here. So we know we need a tractor, but let's work backwards. Let's go to Cedars, and the leasing cost here is $2,000. We're just gonna have to do it. We know we're gonna have to do it. We'll go ahead and lease that. That is the cheapest one. We're gonna need some seed, so we'll buy 1 seed. And I think we're gonna go super cheap on the subsoiler. Leasing this is only gonna cost us $58, and our horsepower right now is 20. Let's go ahead and take a look at that seeder. So horsepower requirement is 165 right now. The cheapest spreader is going to be this $45,000 one, which would cost $22.95 to lease. Sprayers would be a little cheaper to lease, but does that mean we just avoid lime? Let's take a look at the fields. Oh, we're not going to know, are we? All right, I think we got to purchase this. All right, we're down to $88,000. It's going to be a fail, guys. So the pH looks decent. Says bad, but it looks better than what we're seeing here. Like, oh, okay. I guess it is bad, but is it bad enough to worry about being at 6.1? And all of them are about the same. This one looks like it might be good. Let's go take a look. Yeah, looking here, it's okay. So that's not terrible. So if we did just worry about fertilizer and weeding, that might not be a bad thing. But let's go ahead and get a tractor leased now. 165 horsepower is our requirement here. This clause would cost $8,000. We could attempt to lease the Challenger here for only $3,000 and hope that the missing 5 horsepower. I think that's what I'm gonna do. All right, let's also take a look at one more thing here. The cheapest forage wagon would cost $1,500 to lease. We're gonna do that. We're gonna sell the straw. That's the first thing we're gonna do. So I thought about this challenge because I was doing some brainstorming on how I could start in real life farming without a lot of startup funds. And people that have followed this channel know that we have a little bit of property that we own. So I you know, that's already purchased, and you know, we have a mortgage on it, obviously. And so the research I did, and I used ChatGPT, I did use AI for that, told me that the best course of action would be to lease equipment for a few years or find farmers that are willing to, you know, cheaply lease it to us and let us borrow it or use their equipment. And so that made me think, like, in the game, is that even doable? And so that's why we're doing this challenge. And I got a lot of other ideas that we're going to do as these one-off videos. But this is going to be interesting. At this point, my confidence level is probably around 20% that we're going to succeed. But I got some ideas and some plans that we're going to see here in a little bit that are going to help us out. And I probably should have waited to buy the soil, or the soil samples, but we'll be fine. So let's get the rest of this straw picked up. We'll find where we're going to sell it. We can't hold on to this. We have nowhere to store the straw, I don't believe. So we would have to sell it right away and hope we make the leasing costs back for that. I don't think we're going to, or it's going to be close. So this could have been a mistake as well, but this is going to kind of give us an indicator if we're going to want to lease this again next year when we harvest, and see if this is a wise decision or not. We are done here picking up the straw. We have 14,400 liters. I'm going to figure out where we're going to sell it, and we'll head that way. Now, my situation might be a little different. We already have a grass field that is hay. We have a farmer that takes care of it, but if I was going to take it over, there'd be less to do. Like, I wouldn't have to lease equipment to plant anything. We'd probably just want to fertilize it and then cut it a couple times that year. So we'd want to lease, you know, a tractor and some hay equipment. My brain tells me that this is not a way to get started, that you need to take out loans if you want to do it, to like have your own equipment, and it's gonna, you know, the first 3 years or so probably won't be profitable. But let's see how we did here. Looking somewhat promising. Well, 1,600, barely. That was barely worth it. And we'll go ahead and return the forage wagon. Let's go grab the subsoiler, and I'll show you my next plan. Oh boy, this thing's tiny. That is puny. Looks hilarious. The only way I see us pulling this off is if we take advantage of as much of this land as possible. So that's why we got the subsoiler. We can create fields. Let's respect this path to this other family's property. But I do want to, well, let's do it this way. Let's loop back and we'll come up right next to it here. And let's go ahead and lower. And we're gonna want to enable fields. And why is that? Subsoiler should work for that. Is it only a plow? Subsoiler prepares fields for the next sowing. It can be used instead of a plow. This tool suits perfectly for grapes and olive. So why is it not letting me create fields? We're gonna add create field with cultivator. I feel like you should be able to do that. I mean, maybe this tiny one isn't suited for that. So let's see, let's just go right there. I think that would be good, because that'll give us working width to not have to worry about hitting the fence when we're harvesting. So it's adding a little bit of space here, and we can go a lot further this direction. I mean, I am tempted just for this challenge. We're gonna go all the way to the road. Yeah, we'll go to, I guess that's where we own land. Then we back up right here. Lower again. Start cruising forward. At least we can go at decent speed with this. And now I'm looking down at the bottom left, trying to stay at 170 or 270 degrees so we're going straight. And we're gonna connect to these two fields and really maximize the size that we have for this next harvest. And then after we get this all prepped and completely subsoiled up, we'll go to the other field and see if we can extend it as well. Well, we got this back side done here, so now we're just do this side, the middle, and then we have to do the entire field that we harvested so we can get that prepared, the soil prepared for the cedar. And this is adding a decent amount of space, but I just don't know if it's going to be enough. Okay, I believe the first step is done here. Let's just get this little spot here, and if we hold down the helper button, we do have a single complete field now. So now it's just to get this middle done, and then we can move on to the next field. We're already at 0.4 hours, so we're gonna hit that hourly leasing fee soon. I don't know what's going on with that texture there, but I'm not too worried about it. I think we can start with this pass here. We'll back up a little bit more, and I'm gonna go ahead and shut fields off now. And here we go, tiniest little subsoiler possible. Oh, finally. I think this is the last pass. That was a grind. That was a grind. We'll have to switch to that field next, and we're already at noon. A little worried about getting everything I want to get done in September before it's October. So kind of looking at this area here. I mean, how crazy do we get? Do we sneak up right by the silo? I think we do. I think we're gonna. Let's go ahead and head right here. That looks great. There we go. We'll start about right here. We'll respect the path this time. We'll go about right here and just kind of cruise around. Give us a little bit extra. Every little liter is gonna be important. Sneak right there, and then gonna go ahead and turn. could take care of this path too, but I'm just going to go right up to it and kind of loop around with the path here until it tells us we're out of our property. Which it looks like all of this is ours to own. And then doing the same over here. Just kind of getting right up to the path. And heading straight. And I'm sure we'll hit that hourly fee doing this. We're at 0.8 already. And it looks like it already set up the lines for us. Nice. All right, I'm gonna get busy here. I'll see you in a bit. The hourly fee hit. Our balance is now at $84,000 and 768. Trying to make some progress here. This little subsoiler we'll never use again. Finally done. This is so time consuming. We got to get to seeding next and see how much time we have left. I do see a little speck we missed. We'll pick that up, but good gosh. And I'm going to keep the subsoiler for now just in case that other field isn't really prepped that we didn't do. But we should be good right now. We'll just drop this off, go get the seeder and the seed, and start getting planting. Yeah, this is where I remember that this has a subsoiler built into it, and we didn't necessarily need to do all the subsoiling. But let's go ahead and get it lowered, get it activated, and we're gonna do barley. We're gonna get some barley into the ground. I don't know the difference between barley and wheat completely, but I feel like I've made a little bit more cash off barley, so that's why I elected to do that. And really hoping this can be a lot quicker, and it should be, than the subsoiling was. Do the headlands first, and then I'll probably do... Yeah, we'll do the headlands first, then the ups and downs, and then we'll switch to the next field and do barley as well. And then we'll get to figure out what we're gonna do about fertilizer and weeds. I elected not to do lime. I feel like the money spent on that would not benefit us as well as... or as much as it will hurt us financially. I could be wrong. Maybe the environmental score is gonna be the thing that actually hurts us here. But we are at, 15,000 in the hole right now, a little bit of money worth of wheat in the silo. Let's hope this process works and we can have a successful challenge here. So it looks like we could have used this to create the field and plant at the same time, and it would have saved us, I think it was $100 or something for the subsoiler, or maybe a couple $100, but a lot of time would have been saved. All right, is that not actually planting there? What is this field then? I don't understand the state of this field. Someone's got to help me with that. Is it just drawn in here and this isn't actually a field? But we can turn on fields enabled and lock in. Whoops. Got me a little flustered there, guys. And that should start planting. There we go. Well, we learned. All right, one field done. We will check the map just to make sure that we do have seed everywhere. And we'll do the next field, and then we'll figure out fertilizer. But yeah, let's take a look at the map. Yeah, it looks pretty good. A couple specs, but we're not gonna worry about those. Let's head on over, get the smaller field done, and hope we have some daylight left. I think what we're gonna do is risk the weeds because honestly, I don't remember if subsoiling will trigger weeds or if it is actually treated like a plow like the in-game menu says, which it seems like we're learning it's not. So I think we can disable fields here, or fields enabled, since we know we did completely subsoil this entire field. And this shouldn't take very long at all. But as I was saying, I think we'll wait till next month to decide if we're gonna take care of weeds or not. But we do want to get one application of fertilizer down today. All right, this field is now planted. We have barley in both fields. Both fields have been expanded. Next, we got to figure out what we're gonna lease to take care of the fertilizer. Let's go ahead, you know, just in case, let's just drop the seed here before we return this, but we do want to get this implement returned and the subsoiler as well at this point. And for the sake of the challenge, we're gonna probably regret this, but 300 liters at a time. Let's lease this. Should be super cheap, and we're gonna do one thing of fertilizer at a time because that's pretty expensive. So we'll do that. Let's head in and get it. You just gotta hope that the yield and the extra fields sizes that we added are going to be enough. All right, 300 at a time. We'll see how annoying this is. Should be fun. All right, we're locking into place. We're turning it on. We're seeing how long 300 liters is going to last us. How many trips we're going to have to make if we're going to have to buy more fertilizer. We will be holding on to this implement and tractor overnight so we don't get dinged the full fee. We'll just get the daily fee tomorrow. And we didn't get the soil samples in the middle. We're just going to live with that. But I think precision farming might be helping us here with the amount we're going through to where one bag should be enough for both fields. I don't know if it will be for both days, though. Or both applications. That's the concern there. But we'll do our best. Let's get it done. Oh, I'm silly. We only need one application of fertilizer. We're good. We will not be keeping the spreader. We will be keeping, well, we're going to lease a seeder, or a weeder, and we're going to weed today, just in case we need it, and then we don't have to have the second day of leasing of the tractor. I think that's the way. Well, that is complete. Let's go ahead and unload this just in case, and we will return it. And I think what we're going to do is risk that there's not going to be any weeds. Let's go ahead and return the vehicle for now. The Challenger's going back. Let's make it October and see. And we have just a few weeds that I don't think are really worth worrying about. Our precision farming score is 49, so not great, not terrible, it's just there. It's just in the middle. Weed control might have increased that. pH, everything else would have, but it is what it is. It's time to just get to that harvest. There's nothing else for us to do. We've made it to June. We got a rainstorm we're waiting out here, and money is down to $78,387 due to our property fees every month. But we have these two fields ready to harvest, so I am going to go ahead and lease the harvester, get prepared for that. We're going to dump everything in the silo. So this month, the harvester is the only thing we're going to need to lease. And we're going to wait till straw's at a pretty good price and hope that the wheat is at a good price at the same time to lease the tractor, and a way to pick up the straw and sell it, and a way to sell the grain as well. So another 5,300 on the harvester and 1,500 on the header. And we are ready. The storm has passed, and we're going to go ahead and start harvesting this. Drop some swath. We still have yellow yield, unfortunately, so that's not much in our favor. So we're looking at needing around $35,000 to $40,000 when we go to sell. I just don't think we have enough field here. There's just not enough crop to get that number to work, I don't think. But we're gonna push forward. We're gonna find out. We're gonna try to pull it off. And either way, this has been a fun experience, but we're getting down to the end of it to see if we're successful or not. Did we add enough land here, enough arable land to get enough barley? Time will tell. Yeah, not even done with the two headlands here, and I think we already have enough product to pay for this lease. So the rest of this is going to have to make up for the difference from the last lease and the tractor and all the implements we've leased and all of our property fees. It's gonna be close. It's gonna be tight. It seems like a lot more straw. These swaths seem a little bit thicker, so maybe that's gonna help as well. We're almost done with the first field. We can see over here there's just one more pass to do, and taking a peek in here, we're almost at 10. I think this will get us well over 10,000 liters of barley already, and 4,100 liters of wheat still, and the straw is still here, so we will get that picked up. The thing is, we're gonna have to pick or lease 2 different implements, like a forage wagon and a grain cart, which is gonna eat into the budget too, so we need so much more. We need so much more from this harvest. And I'm thinking we're gonna be able to get this pass done and the other field without unloading again. So, it looks like we have a pass and a half here left. So, we'll see. Yeah, 1,900 from that little pass and a half here, and jumping into this other field, hoping to see a lot darker of a color as it picks up here. Yeah, we are somewhat green, which is promising. It's just a small area, so it's not going to be a ton of liters, but it's definitely going to be worth, you know, harvesting, and it'll help. Just, I don't think it's going to get us over. My confidence level was at a 20% earlier. I think we're at about a 50 to 60. Still leaning towards it's not going to happen, but wouldn't be 100% surprised if we did come really close to breaking even, or even winning this challenge. Yeah, not necessarily any warm and fuzzies. 7,000 more liters going in, but we'll go ahead and get this all tipped and return the harvester. And then we'll get to the point where the straw and wheat and barley are at tip-top prices, so we can see what happened. All right, we've woke up in December. Prices are going to be at what they're going to be for us in this challenge. We need to make a pretty much before leasing 32,000. So let's get our vehicles we're gonna need. We're gonna need the forage wagon that only requires 60 horsepower. So small tractors we'll find. Oh, that even work. If you did super, it's not that cheap either. But the Landini, could the Landini pull this off? What's the leasing on this? 2,000. Okay. Anything else cheaper than that? I think we're gonna risk it. And we're gonna find out. We need to get a grain cart later, but we're gonna do the straw first. Says it has enough horsepower. It might be super slow, but we gotta do this first. And we need a lot of money. We need about, I'm just gonna say, we want this to be roughly above 70,000. We need to get about $8,000 right now is what I'm thinking from straw. And I don't think that's gonna happen. But let's stay positive. It may. I mean, this is a cute setup right here. See how it handles it when it's full, but it's cruising pretty good right now. All right, some super tall weeds to deal with in our field. We're kind of role playing that we're gonna do some spring crops next time around. That's why we're okay with the straw just sitting out here and not replanting. Oh, this thing seems more than good enough for this. That was wise. Save some cash. Let's focus, get her done. Was hoping it would fill up a little bit quicker than this. We're almost to our first full load. We'll go sell it, see how much that helps. And we're either gonna be a little more optimistic or pessimistic based on the result here. All right, the way over here, I noticed that barley and wheat are both at above peak prices right now. So we're gonna sell this. We're gonna then get the grain cart we're gonna use and sell all the barley and wheat, because we will lose more money if we'll lose more money by the prices of the wheat and barley dropping compared to the price of straw. So I think what we're gonna do after this one is go get that grain cart, sell all of that, and then we'll know how much money we need from the rest of the straw. And this got us, oh man, come on, hopefully there's a lot more in there. $2,300. We need at least another full load of this, I feel, and more. Okay, let's take a look at grain carts, and we're gonna do a lot of trips. Okay, so leasing this is gonna be $250. If we go one up, we're gonna do it. That's gonna be a lot less trips, but it hurt the pocketbook. Landini doing a great job though. I think we'll start with the wheat because I believe it all will fit, but we'll find out. 4,187 liters. Heading to the farmer's market, or at least I thought that was called the farmer's market. I think that's what its name is here, but it's actually super close. So the smaller one, we could have saved 200 bucks if I knew it was this close, but I don't know if the barley's at the top price here. So here's the first one. Gonna bring in maybe 9,000. No. It's not even gonna be close to that. Let's see. Yeah, just 5,000. And we are getting a bonus of 290. That's not bad. I didn't notice that on the straw, but we're at 72. A little over 28,000 to go. Let's load up the first of the barley. I think we'll do multiple trips of that, and we'll see where it's at best price. Same spot. All right, we'll do this real quick. We got, I think, gonna be 3 trips. Let's get it done. And the last load of barley going in here, 5,000 liters. It's gonna get us close, and I'm really feeling that the difference right now is gonna be the fact that we didn't take the time to lime. So it's gonna be so close. Let's go ahead and get the rest of the straw picked up, and we're gonna be hoping for more than one more load. We might do this, guys. All right, a little nervous here. At 0.2 hours, I don't think we're gonna quite hit an hour on the equipment, so we won't see any more fees. We gotta hope this does good here. Let's go. So this should do it. But we're gonna keep going to see what our grand total is. I believe this is gonna be enough. If not, it's gonna be super close, and with the amount of straw we have left, let's just find out. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. I still feel confident we're not gonna hit the hour mark, but that's the only real indicator or only real thing we're keeping an eye on right now. Looking at the dollar amount, we're gonna hit 99,000 for sure on this load. Are we gonna get all the way to 100? With the environmental score, we will for sure. We're $17 in the green right now. Let's go get the rest to see how much more profit we made with this leasing only challenge. And as you probably saw in a little montage, we did get about $2,000 more, and we have the last bit of straw to send in to see what our grand total is of how much of a profit we made with only leasing and starting with $100,000. And I was going to say the moment of truth, but we already know we succeeded. So let's see what our grand total is going to be. Dropping in the last straw. We said the success was making $1 over 100,000. We're at $3,933. What a profit. And with all the vehicles returned, we're done with this challenge. It was a success. I'm actually surprised. We pulled it off. We made $3,933. Let me know what you would have done different if you've tried this challenge yourself, how much money you made, and also what other challenges do you have in mind for me to do on the channel? I'm Socks Way Up. I will catch you on the next one.